Oh, this is one of the errors.
Ooh, there we go. Google Maps. I can get that one. So one of those puts the maps on here. Oh, now I understand why there's so much JavaScript. What is
Yeah, there's a whole lot of stuff going on. And they just added a bunch of stuff, and I'm not familiar with the main website because I don't really use it. I just use the
Yeah, you're
career. I'll call them app.
I mean,
Let's look at the. I'm gonna sign in. And I'm gonna show you what I see.
I see it now. So this is. Oh, is it on the same?
Yeah, you just sign in. So this is. Styling, dancing leprechauns in it, and like there's other things that are broken with their system, and they still put the leprechaun in instead of fixing it. And I was just like, dude, I was like talking to this escrow officer I work with. I was just like, why doesn't the CEO pay me? At least I'll sit and try to fix the problem, not put some dumb leprechaun. Doesn't do anything.
But the truth is, if it's coded, it's probably because the CEO is like, I need a dancing leprechaun. I need one
The CEO is really
Irish.
no, he's
Hands off.
he gets really excited when other people get really excited about ideas, and then he gets convinced that they're great ideas. And so someone's probably like, "Oh man, check this little thing I've been working with. This dancing leprechaun," or like,
This will really motivate the escrow agent.
and they'll be like, "Yo." He'd be like, "This is super cool. This really shows that we're dedicated to our employees. Let's make the leprechaun and push it to all people." Meanwhile, last Friday, every single escrow officer that I delivered to was just like, "What the fuck is this leprechaun? Oh my god!"
It's just like, oh, dude, what have you guys done with the leprechaun?
Why? I don't understand the leprechaun. That's just.
St. Patty's Day. Some of it.
Yeah, but.
I know. We weren't even working on it. And CEO's Mormon, so he doesn't even drink.
He doesn't even care about leprechauns.
So there's no way that he cares about St. Patty's Day the same way that we do.
I have, man, leprechauns are in my head.
It's okay. Oh wait, yeah, I was gonna console on this though. What's going on?
And now, since I think you said that Nick did something with the Spotify API,
Yeah.
and then now I saw some people that did something with the Spotify API, and I was going to send it to him. Look, man, beat this. Because it was just something.
Hey, I just found a comment.
Where? What line is this?
It's in the system that I use to deliver stuff, and it's in the CSS. And don't worry, required comment for graphics to work in Opera.
I keep looking at
Wow.
it. I was like,
His hands were tied. He had to make the comment.
That's crazy.
Using clear fixes.
I just like, because I get it at work and I'm like,
Okay.
I'm like, okay, so
That doesn't explain why
Yeah.
there's so much JavaScript throughout the main site.
I'm not gonna be able to do that.
I'm assuming that the main site has parts of the escrow system built into it, or like it's the main thing.
Where were you the first one?
That site is
Okay,
probably
now you're
just
starting
for
to
the
say-
escrow. Like that site is probably
Wait, where were you the first time?
Yeah, because there's a lot of different variables.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to week 7. Almost kind of third of the course now. All right.
Oh, what happened? We lost a lot of people this week.
Are we not enough for you? Right?
Yeah.
No, I want
Yeah, it could be traffic. Hopefully, it is traffic.
There was a lot of traffic with the
Yeah.
weekend.
Yeah. Let's see who's walking.
Oh my god. Yeah, getting out of Tempe was ridiculous for the police.
Mm.
There we go.
Because they have all these slides coming up now too.
Yeah, it was bad. All right, so I hope everybody saw my summarization of what we are going to do this week. Anybody check Slack messages outside the class, or they just like ignore? Okay, okay. Yeah. Well, I don't get a thumbs up or a like or anything.
I
I'm
was
like,
going to, but I don't want to be the only one.
oh, you can't be the only one. Oh, that's it. Okay. I'm like, are people even reading what I'm saying? I just like keep bragging, but anyway. What is it?
People just retarded his.
Oh, it is pretty there. I'm sure there is one. Yeah.
It's hard either.
All right. So this week.
More like everybody like it. Make
Okay.
them
So
feel
Chess
better.
is online. All right. So this week we are going to look at persistent storage. We're kind of trending towards a little bit back end, if you guys notice. But we will get there once we start the class. So today's class, we are going to talk about storage and persistence. Before even we begin, we'll do some exercises, and these does not include storage right now. We'll build up our application first, and then once we are there, then we are going to towards the end of the class, not towards the end, but once we have that app built, then we are going to look at how to store the data that is there. Okay. For today, again, I'm going to use my favorite random team generator. Okay, we're still missing one. If there was one, I could have like all equal teams. All right. So this class, all the exercises will be done in groups, but a little bit different groups. So we'll have a 3 people group, and what I want is select a person who's going to be a typist, and that he or she sits in the middle, and the other 2 or all 3 are telling what to do, how to solve that exercise. Okay, and then for the next one, switch around. Maybe let somebody else be the typist. Okay, but this will work. So 3 people group, the typist in the middle, everybody is swarming in and kind of helping to get through these exercises. Okay, so today's exercises are all kind of a little bit again tricky, but it's nothing that we haven't seen previously. Okay, so initial ones are still jQuery and JavaScript, and then once we are there, we will look into our new stuff that we are going to learn. Okay, so let's see. I think this time I got everybody's name: Geoffrey, Michael, Randy, Jeff, Blair, Ellie, Laura, Jill, Kevin, Roland, Bryce is there, Katie, Dante, George, Matt, Andrew, Connor, and Jay. Okay. All right. So Reggie and Bryce. So whoever comes in last will join your group. Otherwise, we'll follow this group. So let's get up and go to your groups, because the first exercise, every exercise today we do will be in group. And quickly go around, get to know your team, sit down, and then we'll start the first exercise. In the meantime, Nick will Slack out the 01.
Well, it looks like 4 is right here.
Yeah, it looks like 4 is
Number 3.
I am looking for Matt and Katie. Whoa.
I'd love to come up.
But I have a brother and sister named Matt and Katie. So we're just missing one more sibling, and that's all of us.
It was real nice we had that screen like that.
Matt, Katie.
On your side, right? What's that?
I'm assuming you're Katie.
Oh, I read the wrong one.
Matt.
I don't know.
That's
I guess Joffrey's not moving, so. Or maybe he's us. What am I doing? Are you moving? I don't know. You're looking for Allie to operate.
Alright, I'm moving, I guess. I'm out of here. There, just gather some shit. There. This.
Girls would like to say that all.
No, he's there for motivational purposes.
Is he from Billy Madison?
He's just there for
Positive life. He makes me think of Billy Madison.
My daughter's like been watching every single Adam Sandler movie, and I think it started with Billy Madison. Hey, I grew up with guys. I've never seen a film, and I wanted to see one. Damn you! Okay, put an overload. I'm
gonna call him Billy.
All right, everybody settle down. Okay. All right, so these are the instructions. What we are doing in this exercise is we are making like a notepad-ish, like a to-do item list. So this is the final product. So I can type in anything, to do something, and then I press enter. It adds a to-do item. Second item. Okay. Third item. So some to-do list over here. Every time I enter and I press hit enter or add item, click add item, it should add at the bottom with a check mark. Okay. This is just an image with a button. Look at the code. And when I click any one of them, it should go away. Okay. Let me show you again. So I have fourth item, and I click this, kind of goes away. So it kind of deletes itself. Okay. Again, this is all done in jQuery, nothing new. So go ahead and take a look at the code. Nick has already sent you the code, and let me run the unsolved one so that you guys know what exactly you have running. So this is the one, and your add button doesn't work basically. Okay, so we have to make this add button work, and then we have to when somebody hits the check mark, it should go away. All of the code is there. Just take a look at it. Yeah. Okay. So again, this is a group one. The reason I did 3 was so that one person types and everybody is kind of talking and then kind of coming to this exercise. Okay. And of course, start with studying the HTML and then go down.
Who's gonna say it first?
Okay.
All right, we have 15 minutes for this one. It's not as crazy, so hopefully everybody is able to finish this. Yeah, you can. I heard live share. You can use it, but kind of takes time. We only have like these exercises at 15-20 minutes, so it's better somebody is typing, so that we can take care of the communication.
So, So I think what we would do is when you have your create a to-do,
I think we need another variable.
and then
Down here, you get introduced, so we would use like variable.
Well, I got it.
And 2D items, whatever we want to call it.
I think I might have to change it.
And then it's going to be equal to the document or the values. And then we're going to get the ID to
Start with this. Bring it in.
No, because on the we're not clicking on the items over the side. We don't want to get the item. Yeah, we don't want to get rate.
We're just store it as
As if we were to get, if we were to do this, it would be that. Yes.
What does that feel?
It is, it's just two.
Figured out, get the splice working, got the splice working before.
And then we need to somehow get the value
It's not a val.
You're probably right. I haven't done that.
It's only done.
Yeah. So it would get. So. Yeah, so we could toss it out log 2 item. Or yes. What about it? Well, we could call it. I think it's fine. I would personally call it like ternary.
Well, you say but the number of parameters will what it does. Yeah. So one will get them two.
Yeah, so we did
So we need to do this equal to 0.
well, we gotta give it.
But the two do count. So if we set 2 do count equal to 0, then we can increment it every time we click.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then every time we click the add to new button, we'll implement it. And then we'll be able to use that variable in order to add it to the data variable. The data variable. We should just do 2 details.
You guys got how to read the already? Got the first one? You guys were discussing that order.
And then
Oh yeah.
that's already decided.
I'm really sure how to decide that.
Okay. What do you guys have? get the to-do value from the text box.
Now,
What's the ID for the text box? Okay, yeah, input to do. This one, right? Yeah. Okay, and then so you guys did something like hash to do.
just make sure that we're giving it the right attribute.
Okay, and then
On the to-do text, attribute, it'll not the whole thing. It's going to put the object on the wall.
so what am I trying to do? The variable.
It's not,
Okay,
it's not a
that's
div,
good.
it's paragraph. We can try it.
What to do is that like, and then it has to be a
Dot what?
Now add another.
Dot wow. That's how you get the.
We should, oh, we don't have any.
Okay. Okay. Right. But how would you? What would you search for? How would you get?
So I was
So we would just do just wherever instead of this one.
Yeah.
Wherever we want. I would do it before that. Just
Well,
but definitely.
well, what if right now you didn't know the band, right? You didn't know what. So how would you? What would you have searched?
So if we just do to-do count.
I would Google jQuery input field.
So it might be jQuery read from input field. Okay.
The way I write them, I don't know.
Yes.
If it works, I don't know. Yeah, just so now let's just try. Yeah. Just to make sure that it is.
Oh yeah. No. Remember this function dot val. It gets whatever you type in. Yeah, it's not the attribute part. No, it's not the attribute part. Yeah.
Okay, so we just need to take the value that we were getting. So to do text, we just need to now assign the text to do text what we're getting from the value. So just do to do text dot text and parentheses. And then or no. But we just do, yeah, we just put two items. Yeah.
So I've started solving also. If you guys are stuck any step, you can see. Again, it's just if you just read the instructions, I'm just following the exact same thing just below it.
And then we'll be permitted to go down.
So, okay.
Still, three is
We add the letter text inside, so then we just move to the button dot text. Yeah, button dot text. Let's see. However you want, it doesn't matter. So this is, yeah, so it's just saying add the text. We're reading ahead because we want to.
you guys type so we can right.
I think we need to read.
We have it from
I mean, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, it says pen, but I feel like I'm
So we're actually, so for this, let's just do to do item dot. Because we can change that just by changing up parentheses, and instead of parentheses, we're going to put the button. Why don't you use the add class method?
Yeah, I was going to use it. I'm making sure I was kind of inconsistent with this, but
Okay.
add class would work.
Okay, that does look nice.
Yeah, that's why I was like, add class. I'm like, but yeah, I would add class is the right method.
Because I'm like, I just do add class.
Yes, add class is right.
Now we need to get the 2D divs. We just need to append our to-do item into the 2D divs. It's probably an ID, but I don't know what it's called. We felt for a check on that. Oh no, not yet. Scroll up into the HTML section, and then we'll tell you for what. What first? No. And then and now let's see what happens.
Oh, it's in.
Oh, no, not there, but there's to-do text. To-do right there.
The first
The T in a sense.
There's an also blue.
So where is it? It's saying
a pen is not
Yeah.
Line 81, it's the input, not the
Line 81 is what?
or line 81. It's the input, not the actual container.
Uh,
The input.
Oh, to the item is not.
oh, it's sorry. This one?
Yeah.
Yep. So just
So we're trying to append that.
We can just find to the item.
Oh, so we need to append it, not to item, but to.
On line 77, adding
We need to
I guess.
find to the item.
no, there's to do's and there's to do.
in the HTML, yeah, look at the HTML.
To do is the input.
So
To do
is the list that comes down.
What do you find
to your text.
P is the text.
So did we mean?
The list that comes
So
up.
did we mean to the text, not to the item? Because we can't append. The way we did.
All right, was everybody able to complete this part? It still doesn't work. I think the they should get you working at least. You should be able to add something. Okay, yeah. Okay.
That's asking a lot. No.
My check. Oh, I slacked out the. Just copy paste. Yeah, I just copy. Copy paste. All right. So, how does it look? Are we able to do complete this part, the first one? These things don't work right now. I'll write the code. But before that, I'm able to add things over here. Is that working for you guys? Where are you guys stuck? Text is what?
So
Are you
what we can do
adding it to the button?
create a new, just like
Are you adding it to
just call
the?
it. I just do it at the very top.
The text is part of
At the very top of the on button function.
Is that where you're adding? Yeah, but you are adding this checkbox to the button. Is that what you have?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting an error when we're trying to append and just and then we'll just append all of our
Working? Okay. Well, this is just part one. We already ran out of time. What about part two? Yes. Let's do the part two also then. Get the number of buttons from its data attribute and hold it in a variable to do number. Var to do number. And how do we get that attribute back? Our famous this.
Yeah, and then to do text.
Okay. And what attribute are we pulling? The data attribute that we declared on the top. This one. This should give us the count. Hmm. What's the last part? Select and empty the specified P element that previously held. Now I have the count over here, and remember over here we were adding it to our item ID. Yes, this thing. So now we have to get that and remove that one. So get our ID, which is, what did we have? Item dash. Okay, and then the to-do number. This will give us the ID that we want to remove. Okay, this is the second part, and that should do it. Let's see. Okay, that's it. You're simply just deleting it. So we already have this attribute. We already set this up in the previous part 1. We are now getting it, and we are getting the ID. And you can, let's look at the HTML for this one. You will see that each one has an ID. And why does it have an ID? Because we are setting that ID. And you see each one has an ID, item 0, 3, 4, and where is this ID coming from? This ID is coming from because we are setting this over here. Remember this attribute that asks you to add? That's what's happening. So when we are trying to remove, we are getting this ID, which one we need to remove over here, and then we just remove that one, and it gets removed. Okay, so the setting part is being done in part 1 over here, and then the removing part is being done over here because we already have these IDs over here.
So it's selecting it
By the ID. Now the ID is called item whatever. Yeah, but we are selecting it by the ID. And these IDs are being added dynamically. Okay, we are not assigning anything. You see over here, it's going to be, this number is whatever the count, how many times you have added it. Okay? Can you slide up the solution so that we can carry on to the next one? All right, any questions on this? Yes. Line number? Okay.
No.
Select an empty. Okay. Excellent. All right. So Ali's question is on this comment 87 to 89. Did anybody understand why? You see, the syntax is a little bit different. Usually we are used to on, click, and then just a function. And this thing is kind of new. Matt, you remember this?
Okay.
What? Can you explain what's going on?
If I remember what Nick told me correctly, doing it this way allows it to refer to items that were dynamically added by the JavaScript.
By the JavaScript. So here's what is this dot checkbox? It's a CSS class. Do we have this CSS class in our HTML?
No.
No, we don't have it. So if we don't have anything in our HTML, there's nothing we can reference. So the problem with this one is we are creating this class in our jQuery. And this is the way you access it, any dynamic class that you have created, right? Because this class does not exist. So this is the exact syntax if you want to refer to any ID or any class that does not exist in your HTML. So basically this is saying when the click happens, this is the they're using this attribute, right? So this class, this is where you need to go and pick up whatever ID that we are trying to get. You see this class, checkbox. So anything that has a class of checkbox, that's the one that we are trying to pick over here. Okay, and if the checkbox was in HTML, then we wouldn't have to put it over here, because simply this would be able to identify and work. But the problem over here is that this class does not exist in our HTML. We created this in our jQuery. So any class or ID that you create in our jQuery, this is how you do it. Could I change this to an ID?
Yeah.
If you only had one.
If you only had one. But I cannot change it to ID because everything would be an ID of checkbox. ID is usually one. Yeah.
Right.
Well, actually, ID is always the same.
There was one of the homework solutions had multiple IDs.
Oh, really?
I can't remember what it was.
Don't do that. Bad.
I ran it was like, what is that?
Again, and why is it working? Because again, JavaScript doesn't care. They're like, oh, that's fine. But ID should be unique. That's the purpose of an ID. Otherwise, kind of defeats the purpose. All right, good question. Anything else? This was the easy part, guys. We haven't even touched. We're already like 7:07. All right. Any other questions before we proceed? Okay. Here's the thing. Go ahead and add. So Nick sent out the solution. If you already completed this, use the code that you have, or use the solution. Go ahead and add like 15 to-do items. 15. Teach class.
Well, at least it works.
Done? So who did 15? Done? 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 All right. So if you are done with 15, go ahead and refresh your page.
Oh no, they're gonna be gone.
Go ahead and refresh your page. Gone, right?
I don't want to see your thunder or anything, but I think I know where this is going.
Huh? That's funny.
I spent some.
I All right. I will start. This kind of segues into our next topic. You see, I refresh the page. Everything is gone. What's the problem? The problem is it's not persisted, right? It's not being stored anywhere. That's the problem. So this week's part is about storing the data now. Okay. We have seen how to write our HTML, CSS. We looked at jQuery. We looked at JavaScript. We looked at how to get the data, right, from our API calls. Now this week we are going to see how to store the data. Okay. So there are two types of storage that we are going to look at this week. It is client versus server storage. Okay, so what's the difference between client and server storage? What is server storage? What does that mean? Anybody, any idea?
The information stored at a remote location.
Remote location? What else? Save it in the database. That is exactly what server side means. All right, so server storage means you are storing some information at a remote location in a database. Okay, that's what server side means. Okay. Some of the characteristic for this is that you have a lot of space when you are storing the server. I would say virtually unlimited. Virtually unlimited. There is a finite amount, but for our projects and exercises that we'll do in this course, it's virtually unlimited for you, right? Even you will see you get like 10 GB of database space. You're never going to fill in this course, okay? So for us, there's a lot of space available when we're talking about server side, okay? What about client side? What is this? Saving on the client side so they can see it on the desktop. Ooh, somebody said cookie.
I'm hungry.
Awesome. All right, excellent. Yes, George. Cloud would be server side. Yeah, because your database today kind of resides on some remote cloud space. Yeah, that will still be server side. Yeah. So Amazon uses a database called DynamoDB. So that's kind of considered server side. Okay. Client side is on your laptop, on your desktop. But as web developers, what are we talking when we talk about client? Browser. Excellent. So our browser is the client. So when you talk about storage in client side, we are actually storing data in our browser. Okay. What are the differences between these two? I said the space is kind of virtually unlimited. You have a lot of space over here. What about over here? Do you think it's virtually unlimited? Just fill up your client's laptop with GBs of data? Slow it down? No. You have a very limited amount of space, around 5 MB. That's about it. So you need to be very sure what you want to store. Okay. In this week, today we are going to look at client side. The next 2 days we are going to look at the server side. Right? It's kind of big. We'll see what that means. What are the tools for server side? So today we are concentrating on client side. Okay. Somebody mentioned cookies. That's part of your client side storage. Then there is something called web storage API. That's what we are going to start with, and then we'll end up with the cookie part. Okay. Again, I said the browser does have limited space. You can store some information. What kind of information would you store on your browser? Usernames,
ID,
passwords. Okay. Social security numbers then.
Mother's maiden name.
Yeah, why not store the bank account and right. So it's a good thought. You can, of course, you can store passwords, but you would store usernames, or I would say instead of password, maybe you meant like login information. Okay. You are creating a shopping website, right? People save everything in the cart, they kind of close it. So your cart things, they can kind of be on your browser, so that when somebody kind of opens up, you see your cart still has those things.
They send you an email saying that you still have something.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you would store these kind of information, but not sensitive information. Please don't store passwords in these things.
Too late.
Well, so is it like, you know,
Yeah.
Google runs them because they always want you to save everything
Yeah.
in there. Save password, save credit card for you.
Oh no, that's their storing, but that's their own. What I mean is that they're storing like encrypted information. That's not what we are talking about. Okay, this is not what Google is saying save password. That's another store that they store. This is information that websites that you go to kind of store this information.
Oh, like if you go and it's like already pre-filled. Like,
Yeah. Well, no. Yeah. That pre-filled on text boxes, that is also part of this. Yeah, you can do that. Yes.
if it's a cookie, that way you create a cookie.
Right. It's what is happening is this is all information in cookie. We'll see what it means. Okay. But don't save any sensitive information. No bank accounts, no passwords, no nothing.
Mine was
Login
on Google
information?
Drive that I was thinking.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I was like,
I see what you mean.
browser, and then he's-
Right. Now this is a little bit different. You can store login information. By login, I mean is you will see when we go to authentication, it's kind of ways away when you guys are using it. You store. It's not exactly a password. It's encrypted, like a 32, 64 long number that they are storing, and that's what we call like a token, right? Those kind of information kind of you store it so that when you make another call, you want to verify that somebody is already logged in, so you don't have to keep asking them to log in. So those kind of information kind of also go over here. Card information, your form you want it pre-filled, those information can also reside over here. Okay. Advantage for this is it's fast. It's just over there. You don't have to make a call to your server to get any information back. It's much faster versus server side. Okay. You are using what?
Instead of using your store.
Exactly. Right. You don't have to make an API call or network call to get any of this information. It's already on your laptop, or as Britton is saying, you don't have to do any calls, right?
Is that the same thing like when you, let's say, go to Amazon and already pops you the option of your email on you? Is that you storing it, or are they offering you the option?
When you go to Amazon and they pop you what?
Well, no. When you let's say it's a site you have an account and it offers you your email already when you just toggle around it. So
Okay.
is that
So when you're trying to like sign in and it says email and password, it's not exactly this thing. Because since it has a password, that's what Laura was saying.
Oh, okay.
So that is your browser has a different storage for that, which
Okay.
is not accessible through this thing. They are storing your password in a different location. That's different.
Okay.
What is Amazon is when you go and you add items to your cart.
So your history browser ones?
Yeah. So you added two items to your cart and you kind of close your browser. You come back, you still have those going.
Okay.
So this is some information that you can store in your
Okay.
storage. Okay? No sensitive information. Yes?
The login information, is that like when you click like the remember me and you go back to the website, it already has it?
Yes.
pre-filled?
Well, again, the pre-filled of your password is not part of this.
No,
what is-
just the username.
Yeah, even the username. The login information I mean is you go to your site and it never asks you to log in. It automatically just loads it up.
Oh, okay.
That's what I mean over here. If it asks you for your password and username, that's coming from your browser. It's storing somewhere else. This information is you already have an established session with somebody, right? Like for example, Gmail. You close it, you come back, it still kind of recognizes you. It goes through the step,
Right.
but what it is doing is getting that login tokens from your cookies or storage and kind of verifying it, and then it verifies, then it kind of automatically signs you in. Yeah. If you have to type in your password, that's not over here. Okay. Good. We'll look at what JavaScript gives us from the coding perspective to store all this information. Okay. All right. Before we go, we will again work on new exercise. Nick will slack that out. It's called sign in form. Okay, let's take a look at this one. So again, this one is still jQuery and JavaScript. There's nothing related to storage right now. We are going to create the app first, and then next we will look at how to store that information. All right, so let's take a look at what do you guys have to do with this one. Okay, so it's something like this, a sign up form. All right, you're going to sign up over here. Let's see. Okay, so it adds up over here. That's what you are trying to do. Let's add a new. Again, this is also a group one, so no, partnership is still not over. Okay, so it is adding and it shows up over there whatever you add. Let's look at the unsolved one. So your Submit button is not working. That's what we are trying to solve. Okay, we'll take 10 minutes for this one. It's not as difficult. You just have to capture example from the previous one. Remember the dot val. Get your values over here, put it in variable. That's all you're trying to do. Okay, and fill up all these IDs, these whatever this corresponds to. So look at the IDs on the top. We have name, display, email, age, and comment. So first, get all these values back. Okay, so I'm trying to capture this first one, name. And this is the ID. Oh no, this is the heading. This is the ID. Name underscore input. So I get the ID back for whatever you type over there, and just console log that. And then we have to output this into this side. So dollar something dot text, and then your name. What is the ID for this one? Name display. Okay, that's all we are doing. Now you can replicate the rest of them. I just did the first one, but let me know if somebody is so confused. That's right. So we are capturing the information from our text box. Okay, and then we are just putting it to this one over here, this side. That's all. I just did the name one, but everything else is the same. So you guys go ahead and complete the next one. Yeah, it already exists. You don't have to create anything.
Are we just replacing the stuff on that?
Yeah,
Most recent number card?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I thought we were creating new ones.
No, not yet. We will. Not right now.
Okay.
Yeah, just replace.
So,
Yeah. Then parentheses, quote, name dash display.
we're not inserting.
just make 3 more copies. And it'll be just like that email that display.
Got it?
I don't know what to write.
No, so for like, for example, with email, we might want to put like right there, implication marks, email, followed by space.
Oh yeah, because it's the format inside.
I take it you guys got it? Yep.
Name was just name. They didn't.
Yeah, they're like,
Oh, she did. What the hell? I didn't.
Well, and name shows up on part of
I don't like that.
It makes sense. No, comments are
All right, anybody's having issues? Are we close to done? You guys got it?
yeah, we could use HTML if we wanted to add HTML. Yeah, text is just,
I think the others all the same in this case. All we have is text. But yeah, I kind of got that.
That's right now. We did it. We get cookies. This is a dream team.
yeah, I just do lunch text.
Didn't you say that on Tuesday?
I just wanted to make sure that
This guy is constantly giving us crap for those 5 months of code that we were so proud of.
It took a long time, right? All freaking New York Times.
I went home and cried.
Oh, because of that.
you know why I went home and cried? I went home and cried because I found out that somebody's smoking heroin through puppies.
What?
That's why I cried.
Wow. Okay.
Okay, so the search term that we're using for looking up on the New York Times was puppies. Because I thought it'd come up with fuzzy puppy stories. No, there doesn't be.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, not snuggling. That's snuggling. That was a disturbing analogy when you were smoking. Like they turn a puppy into a ball. That is much worse.
All right. Let's get to the topic now. All right. Everybody good? Any questions on this one? Okay. This was a little bit simpler one. All right. Okay. All right. Everybody ready? So this is more like a concept time right now, and then I'll show you the coding part for this. Okay. So Nick has flagged out the solution. You can use as solution. We'll come back to this exercise after we go through some coding and concepts, and then you guys will add the storage part to it. Okay. All right. So in JavaScript, we have something called Web Storage API. Are you guys good? Well, you can pause it. We'll come back to it. All right. We'll start the next one and we'll come back to this one. All right. So when I talk about Web Storage API, this API has two types of storage given to us: local and session. We'll start with looking at the local storage. All right. Now, when I talk about web storage, the word API, does everybody understand? I'm not talking about the web calling, the ones that we have been using. Over here, I'm using the technical term. What I mean is that there are functions that are given to us that we can use to store information. That's what, and these both are called, they come under the concept called Web Storage API. Okay, this is new in HTML5 and more latest JavaScript methods. So not all of your browsers kind of support it, right? Right now, if you are on Chrome latest version, that works. Firefox, Safari. Most of the latest versions of browsers support these functions. But if you go back to IE or older versions of Chrome, they don't have this right now, right? So this is something relatively new.
Where are they stored?
Cookies. We'll come back.
Cookie?
Everything cookie.
Okay.
Yeah. Cookie is a traditional way to do it. But this is more easier to use. That's why it's kind of coming up in the newer versions. Okay. So this is called local storage and session storage. So this is where our data on the client side gets stored. Okay. These are, if you look at the coding part, these are objects, and they have some functions that help us to store, remove, get the information from our browser. Okay, so let's take a look at what these do. So over here, I have my setup already done. I have a HTML file. No, I don't want ESLint. I have my JavaScript file, and I added my style.css. That's how I create all my templates. I have my jQuery added over here, so I can go ahead with this part. Okay. So similar to the sign up form, I'll just create like an input box. I'll type something in it, and I'll have a submit button. And that submit button is then going to go and save that data into our local storage. Okay. So let's go ahead and create our some HTML. So I'm going to add a quick H1. I'm going to call it guest book. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so I have a H1, and then I'm going to create a form with one input box and one submit button. That's what I'm trying to do. Input box and just one button. Okay, so let's go ahead and add let me add a span so that everything is on the same line. I'm going to give this an ID. ID of this is going to be my input name. Okay, let's add a quick label, your name, and I'm going to add an input box here. Okay, let's give this an ID of your name. Okay, and type is text. Okay, so I created an input. What is going on? I'm trying to write code over here. Alright, I'll come back to this one. Okay. Alright, so now I have a label, your name, and I have an input box. That should show up on my screen. Let's make sure this is running. Okay. Okay, so this is what I was trying to do. And let's give this input I'll make it a little bit bigger. So hash input name. I'm going to give this some style. Make it font width as so you guys can see this. And me increase the font size also to, so let's see how this one comes out. Nice. Okay, all right. So simple label, and then I have an input box. Okay, let's go ahead and add a submit button now. Okay, I'm going to add a input. Okay, I'm going to call it submit. This is just another way to add a button. All right, you guys should have used this in your forms. Let me format this. Okay, I'm going to give this an ID. This is my save name. Okay, this is the button, and something that shows up on the screen. Okay, there's my button, and there's my label. Okay, so I can enter my name and then press save. Okay, right now it doesn't do anything. Okay, so this is my initial form. Now what I want to do is when I click save, it goes and saves it to local storage. That's my target. All right, so at this point, let's switch on to my JavaScript file now. Okay, so my ready function is there. Let's go ahead and create the click function on. Okay, and what is my ID? It's called save name. So whenever this button is clicked, I want to save that information. So go ahead and add this ID. Okay, dot on click. Okay, create the function, anonymous function. Okay, so this is complete. All right. Let me go ahead and add event dot prevent default. You guys remember why am I doing this? So that it doesn't go and submit and kind of refresh the page. I don't want this happening. Okay, you see the change now? It just stays over here. If I remove this, the whole page was refreshing. Good? Okay. Alright, so I haven't done anything different till now. The next line is also, now I want to capture whatever I type in over here. I want to get this in my JavaScript. And we did a few exercises just now, so using $.val function. Okay, and what is my ID? Okay, let's go ahead and copy this. Okay, so at this point I should have my ID. Just make sure, let's console log this to make sure this is working. So when I type this something in, when I save it, should console log this. Thank you. You guys are not sleeping. All right. Not yet. Is that something else? All right. So it looks like this is working. Now we go into our storage part. Storage part. Okay. So what did I say? It's called local storage. That's the object. So local storage. This is what it is, right? Dot, and then you will see some methods over here. Get item, set item, remove item, clear. Okay, these are the ones. So set item kind of gives you an idea what it is doing. Look at the documentation. It says it's going to store it. You have to pass in a key and a value. All right, this is how the storage works. You have to assign, it's called key value pair. Key value pairs. You have to give it a key and then some value to it. And that's how it will be stored in your local storage. So let's use a set item and then see how, what do we do. So I need two arguments, the key. So I'm going to call this key as name. Okay. And then what's going to be my value? The variable name. Why? Because this is what I want to store in my local storage. So I get the name from my input box, right? And I store it in local storage. But you have to assign a key. You have to tell, okay, this is going to be my key. and this is going to be what I'm trying to store in. And why do I need the key? Because when I'm trying to retrieve it from my storage, I'm going to use the key and say, hey, this is the key, give me what the value is behind it. And I can have multiple keys also. We'll see that in a minute. Before that, local storage. What is this? What is the data type for local storage? It's an object. Excellent. Did I declare local storage anywhere? No. So what does this mean? It's predefined. It's a global variable. All right. And if it's a global, what object is it part of? Window. Who said window? Window object. Excellent. All right. Remember? So this is part of the window object. What else? We saw alert. We saw those pop-ups, right? All of those were part of the window object. So this is also part of your storage, is part of your window object. Okay. So now let's see what happens. When I click, it should go ahead and save this to my storage. Okay. Now how do I check if it is there? So in your Chrome Inspect browser, there is a Applications tab, and it has nicely predefined everything for you. So you have local storage. Open this up, and there's your name. That's how you store it. Okay. Now, yes.
So does that differentiate it from some other website that might have also?
Good question. Excellent. So Matt is saying, is it differentiating with the other website? It is. So how does it differentiate? It takes your HTTP, the domain. It differentiates based on the domain. So if you open a different site, let's see, W3 schools, they might be using or might not be using local storage. Let's go and check. They are. So they have their own storage versus what my site has. So each of them are separated by the domain. Okay, and each domain gets allocated around 5 MB. All right, so each one of you, whatever you're trying to store, that's how it is. Okay, now you can totally have multiple. Let's go ahead and add one more. So let's say I add another text box here. Let's call it comments. Okay, your comment, text type, this is this. Okay, now 2. Now if I want to store my comments also, what do I have to do? Local storage dot set item, and then give it a key. Let's call it comment, and then I need to capture that. Var comment is equal to $.well, and this was hash your comment. Okay. So now I type in my name, some comment, save it. Now I have 2 values over here. See it? And then if you update this, this kind of gets updated. It kind of overwrites it. So you have to be careful what you're trying to, if that's the intention. Because if you're using the same key, what is it going to do? It's going to go find that key first and then override it. If the key doesn't exist, it's going to go and create a new one. Okay? Yes?
Because that's like on the W3s. Why would you do open source versus session storage?
We'll come to that. We'll come to that. We'll come to that. We haven't seen the session storage right now. We'll come to session storage. Right now we are local storage. Okay?
Can you store an object this way, or is it just basic things like strings and numbers?
You can store anything. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you can store anything. It's all fair game. The only thing is when you're retrieving it, you need to know how to parse it then. Yeah. Okay. Now how do we retrieve this? Simple method, local storage dot get item. Now get item, what is the argument? It says key. So the key that you are using to store, that's the key that you're going to use over here to retrieve that item. So if I'm trying to retrieve my name, I'm going to say name key. Okay, and this should give me my value for name value. Okay, so let's quickly console log to make sure this is working. Oops. Okay, so the second one is actually coming from the storage. Right? We can actually display it on our HTML2. Let me span. Okay, let me add a tag to this. Well, the console log should suffice, but I'm not sure why I'm doing this. I just want to show that you can pass this information to your HTML2. So if I want to set it, I want to do dot text. Okay, put the ID, hash greetings, is that what I called it? Hopefully. And then put the name value there. Okay. What am I missing? Greeting. Oh, there it is, small. Okay, so this is how you set it and then how you retrieve it. I can do the same thing. I can retrieve the comment also, all right, using this key, and the comment will come back. If the key doesn't exist, it will give you what, undefined or something, right? If you put in a key that you are not using it. Okay. How do I remove this? Where is it? Oh, here's the interesting part. So this local storage is kind of special. If I close the browser, the tabs, whatever where this is running, guess what? When I come back to it, it's still there. It doesn't go away when you close your browser. Very important. Geoffrey, you got it? Local storage? And then you're asking what's the difference. We are coming to the difference. I'm trying to answer your question.
I started fiddling with my card.
No, don't fiddle right now. We'll have time. All right? All right, so I was saying that local storage, when you close your browser, it still remains. Okay, it will always be there. Until what time? Until forever. All right? Until you delete it. And how do we delete it? Dot remove. Yeah, excellent. So
It's dot remove, like
actually it is both. Both of you. It's dot remove and dot clear. Let's see what is the difference between those two.
I wasn't trying to correct it.
No, you're right. We have both of them. So let's take a look at the. Let's add an input. I'm just going to copy this. Okay, so let's call this clear, and let's call this clear button. So I'm adding a new button, which is going to help us clear everything. Okay, I'm going to just copy paste this whole thing. I don't need this right now. Okay, and this was called cleared in. Okay, everybody good? I haven't done anything. I just created a button, and this will help you clear everything. So the function is called local storage dot clear. Okay, so let's look at what does clear do. Clear will completely wipe out everything. Everything that is in your local storage is going to wipe the whole thing out. So let's go ahead and press clear, and you see everything went away. Doesn't matter what it was, it is going to go through your local storage and delete everything. All right, if that is not what you want, that's why we have the remove. What does remove do? Let's look at remove. Removes one item. Excellent. So look at the documentation. It's a remove, and then you have to pass in a key. So this is exactly what you're trying to, which key you're trying to remove. So let's go ahead and remove the name key, the name value. And this time only remove, only the name goes away. Yeah. A better approach is when you're trying to save something, right? Well, it depends. You might want to clear, because what I said, it always remains over there. Okay. Every time you try to save something, you might want to clear everything. It's kind of new thing that you are trying to save, if that's the purpose. So you could put anything before you save. You can put your clear, so everything clears out, and then you can save everything. Okay. Or you can create a button and clear out everything. It's up to you, but both function are there. Brittany, you got it? Clear and remove. All right. Local storage, you got it? It keeps over there indefinitely.
Is it just remove or remove item?
What is remove item? I think that's what it's called. Remove item. Okay. Again, local storage dot, and it gives you all the list of, there are what, 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5 functions. Okay. Any questions? All right. Let's take a break. When we come back, the sign up page. Now you're going to store that information in local storage. Yes, George. Come back in like 10 minutes. 8:05. We'll start back at 8:05.
So, Daniel, is that search
Yes.
per domain name or
Per-
per subdomain?
Per domain name.
Okay. So anything.
Anything.
W3schools.com is the same.
Yeah.
Repository.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So anything under that domain comes
Whether they made
slash JScript.
well, not the slash after. I'm talking about subdomain before. Like you'd have a www dot, or you could have an info dot w3schools.com.
Oh yeah, no, the .info or .web part, that's included in the whole domain. Like
No,
this.
I'm saying before. Like info.w3schools.com. Is that a separate repository to www.w3schools.com?
Oh yeah, I think this is separate.
That-
Yeah,
that-
info. Yeah, because that kind of comes part of the domain, so that is separate.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a remake of the original. They look amazing in a Why not? And they actually credited the original graphic designer on there. Someone bought it for me for my wedding registry. Like the only thing I was excited
Yes.
about.
The only thing I want.
To the HTML.
Oh.
So
Cool.
wow.
Literally, that's all he
Yeah.
does. Ever since.
You have to add the players out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whatever.
Well, the very end here.
Dance is the color.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a button called.
Yeah.
The dancing color. Why else would you wake up in the morning?
Why else?
What you did with the one for comment? Or you just renamed it?
No, I added one more. Just this is just a form. I added
Comment.
another text box called comments. Right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, the first text box. These are just simple HTML text boxes. Nothing. I'm assigning the IDs to it.
Okay.
Yeah, these two text boxes. This is what I did over here.
Oh. Oh, okay. You got your bag now. I was like, oh, see it. You say it's heavy me? It's just because you're dripping me. I got it. It's all my fault.
Can you go back to the JavaScript file on the screen, please?
Okay. Yes.
So I heard you talk to with let's say Jaime Torres. He does the IT program for the rotational program. So they were putting it out, so I applied. But we always talk like every single week. Okay. And we say more details. So apparently they're gonna start interviews in 3 weeks. Oh. So I don't know if I get interviewed, but I feel like I am because I've been like talking to them. I feel like they're giving me a shot. But I feel like to prepare me for like the interviews, like I did the website that you sent out. What's it called? It's saved on my computer. It starts with an L.
Okay. Oh, the lead code.
Yeah, the lead code. Okay. Yeah, so I've been like looking at that for like the past 2 days. Yeah. How else should I prepare?
Yeah. Even before that, I would say if you just Google JavaScript interview questions, that's a good JavaScript interview question. Just Google JavaScript questions. All right. So they have like go from the top. They have like some questions over here. Like this one. You might not need the coding part. Like what they do is they ask you, oh, this is the code, what it is doing. But make sure you understand the concept ones. Like, okay, this one. What is the significance of wrapping the entire content in a function block? Right. Like, this is a concept question. So do this one. Forget about the coding part. You can look up this one. Okay. This is a good one too. Make sure, go through the question and see if you understand what it is saying. So anything that is more like a non-coding one and it's asking some more concepts like what does this mean? What is closure in JavaScript? Provide an example. These kind of questions. So go through them. Once you are through them, then you can look at some of the coding part because the coding part is like, okay, what is this doing? Okay, the set timeout function, we studied set timeout function. Yeah. So look at this one and kind of come to a conclusion what it is doing. But what I think is what they will ask you mostly is around the concepts.
Yeah, because it's entry level and it's the rotational program. So I don't think they're looking for anything. They just want to know if like you understand.
Right. That's all they're really asking. Okay. So it'll be just like, you say, oh, I know JavaScript, then they might ask you, okay, what is this in JavaScript? What is scope? What is closure? Or what is the difference between double equal to and 3 equal to, these kind of more like the concept wise.
That'll be actually kind of cool too. It's like 15 minutes before class starts. Like I'm trying to get here 15 minutes before. Okay. Because I know our drive is awful.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and then like trying to like work on even the whole entire class as well. Like work on like concept like questions that interviewers may ask.
Yeah. Let me know if you want like a mock interview or something. We can sit together before the class, after the class, and we can do like a 15-20 minute mock interview. I can ask some concept questions.
Yeah. I get off work at 3:30, so
okay.
Yeah, so what time do you get off usually?
I leave office around like 4:30.
4:30.
Yeah, but we can do it in class whenever.
Well, like a Saturday, like when you teach a Saturday class.
Yeah, I'm teaching this Saturday.
This Saturday you are?
Yeah, we kind of switched. Okay. Because Matt is not here, so I'll be here this Saturday.
Oh, okay.
So we can do Saturday after 2, or if you want, if you're here, we can do like a 15-minute. I can like sit, bring your do something, print out your resume. Just bring your resume, what you have, and then I'll kind of walk you through how the questions are being asked.
And I need a little bit of help with that as well. How to add this program into my resume as well. Like, what's some good details to put in there? Okay. What's some things like. I put like basic knowledge like jQuery, like what we've done so far. Okay. Just trying to develop stuff, but I don't know like how to like what engineers look at.
Yeah. Whatever you have, bring that resume. We'll do a mock interview, and then whatever corrections are, I'll give you guidelines on how to go about your resume, and then I'll do some concept around JavaScript and see where it is. Okay. All right. Well, good luck. Yeah, of course.
I'm a little bit nervous, but
yeah, I know it will go good.
This is like a cheat.
I have to eat every 3 hours.
That's what actually everything right now.
A lot of cigarettes this week, I'll be very honest. You know.
You can work with Kyle. I didn't see. Yeah, this is what I'm about. Yeah, you can work with Kyle. This is my help.
Thank you.
I can't help
At least you know which variable you're accessing.
I start prepping. So you'll start watching videos.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to ask you. I can show you picture one. And I don't know how to do this. Mine are always thrown under the ice. Yeah.
You do the competition break?
No.
So for this, we do the competition.
Yes. Just store it. Just store it. Yeah, just store it. That's all. And then look up your cookies and make sure it is there. That's all. You did it? It's not that difficult. All right. Let's do the next exercise. It's the sign in one that we saw. All right. All you have to do is use the local storage and save it to your local storage. Okay. Now you had those names and all that stuff from the previous one, right? You're showing up on the screen. Or did I close it? Oh. Let me open this one. Okay. So this is what we are seeing. What I want to do what you guys to do is when you put in the name, age, and comments, these should just go and be stored in your local storage. That's all we are doing. All right. I go over here and I open my local storage. These things should be these things should come up over here. Okay. Again, it's not. Let's take like 5 or 10 minutes. Not that difficult. Just like literally just one line of code. You guys already did it. Okay. You guys done too? You did it?
I even added the button to clear it.
Oh, okay. There you go. Awesome. Yeah, you can add a button over here to clear it also. But what I want is, let's go ahead and add something. When I click submit, not only it shows up over here, it should go and show up on your local storage also. Okay. This is the primary goal of this exercise. If you want, you can add a clear button and remove everything. It's up to you. Okay, but right now I just want to make sure everybody understands how to store this information in your local storage. Okay. You already have the solution for this one. If you didn't complete this one in the previous one, you can use the solution and add the coding part over here. Again, what are we using? Local storage. All right, and look at the functions. We saw 4 functions. Get item, set item, clear, and remove.
Oh, that's upside down.
And a good test would be that if I close this and I come back to the same website, make sure that the storage still has that information. And it does, because it show, instead of null, I can already see this information here. So it's already saving. Okay. And you guys got it? So in this exercise, we are using get item and set item minimum, and then if you want, you can add clear. You guys done? Got it? Local storage dot clear. Remove item. You have to pass in a. So what you can do, you can add a button after submit and put clear, and it will clear everything. Yeah, if you want, you can add a clear button here. Oh no, if you want remove item, you can remove item. Yeah, but you have to find out which one you are trying to remove. Right now, clear is easy, right? But this is after you do the set item and get item functions. Then you can add it. First of all, these are more important. Except what? Is it the same thing except what?
No, I'm saying it's just like kind of the same concept. Just instead of saying local storage dot get item,
yeah.
Session storage dot.
Right, but what's the difference?
Well, if you close down a browser and plug it.
That's it. All right, everybody good? You're moving to session storage. What happened? You guys got it?
Yes. We have the storage bucket.
Okay.
Yeah, we got it. Oh, what is the bottom part?
This one? Yeah, I'm just making sure that it is coming from this
Oh,
one.
you're just checking.
Oh, well, not checking. Now, this display, this thing is actually coming from the storage.
Well, yeah, you're just seeing it from
Yeah.
online.
Well, no, because so this is why I'm storing. If it is not stored, this won't come out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yes, Pam. No, you cannot use the document. What you can do is you can use the oh yeah, you can actually use the dot name too. Yeah, you can. I think that should work. Or let's try this. This should also work. I think this also works. Yeah, since it's so either this or you are saying yep, exactly. Okay, everybody good? We are going to look at session storage now. Okay? Alright. You guys good? Randy, Vanna, Connor? Okay. So we are going to look at session storage now. Alright. Session storage is from the functionality perspective, it is exactly the same thing as local storage. So see what am I going to do? I can simply replace this with session storage. Okay, guys, following what I did? Instead of local storage, now I replaced every single thing with session storage. It has the same functions: get item, set item, remove item, and clear. Same thing. But what's the difference? Let's look at it. So let's go ahead and run this. Okay, let's go to our inspect applications. Let's go ahead and clear everything. Okay, so this is my local storage. There is nothing over here. It also, you will see a session storage. Open up session storage, nothing here. Let's go ahead and add something. Since I'm using session storage, everything should be saved in my session, not in my local storage now. Okay, that's the first difference. Now, what happens when I close my tab and come back to it? You see, there's nothing. Local storage, when I closed and came back to this part, I still had my keys over here. In session storage, when you put something and you close your browser, close your session, everything automatically gets deleted. That's the difference between local storage and session storage. Local storage, anything in local storage is forever. Session storage, the lifetime of any of those keys or any information is your browser. Once you close your browser tab, whenever this domain is closed, everything wipes out. That's the only difference. Okay? Functionality wise, same function. Set item, get item, remove item, clear, everything is there. The only difference is anything that you don't want to be stored, that as soon as your website is closed, you want everything to be wiped out. Could be login information, right? Maybe you have a banking site. You don't want, as soon as the browser closes, you don't want to keep any sessions, more security. You can put it over here. As soon as somebody closes, everything wipes out. Okay? Joffrey, you got the difference? What is the difference?
And local is forever.
Forever. Okay, awesome. Any questions? Easy peasy? Alright, let's do the previous exercise. Now change, instead of local storage, put session storage. Make sure you guys know what is going on. Save it to your session storage now. If you want to clear it, here's the clear storage, and this should clear everything out for this site only. Okay? Save those names, sign in information in your session. close your browser, come back to it, make sure everything is wiped out, and then we will go back to our previous exercises. What is it? Oh yeah, if you go to one page, as long as this tab.
So if you have more than one tab on the website, it can persist until all tabs on that website are closed.
Yeah. As long as that website. Let's take it. So you are saying, let's see.
Like you open some page and a new tab because you know it's replaced.
So I open a different website. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, I'm saying another tab, but it's the same domain.
Oh, same domain. Yeah, that's what I thought you were saying. Okay. So let's go ahead and copy. So I have my session. Okay. So you see, no session. It's only specifically to that tab. Yeah, to that instance. So local storage is keeping track of the domain. Session kind of goes a further step, just not the domain, it kind of keeps track of literally the session. That's why it's called session. That specific window, yeah. Or that specific session. Yeah. So it's kind of, usually we'll see financial website, they kind of use this because they don't, more security, they don't want when somebody comes in, closes the browser tab, and they come back in, they want you to sign in again. So you will see self-destructive basically, yeah. So they don't want any kind of login information, even tokens or anything stored over. Usually banking side, I've seen that they do this a lot.
Oh, I'm not in that.
Got it? Good? Complete?
Yeah, you did it.
Did it? Yes. Local?
Yeah, the last part where you're displaying where you went local storage, like that item to display it.
Yeah.
And then I wasn't seeing it display.
Display. Oh no, it shows up on the sign in box. That's what it is. So because I'm storing it back to the same divs. This was this one, right? Yeah. So I am actually getting that information and putting it back to these same IDs. So that's why what you see is this thing at the bottom. This thing is getting from your local storage. So when I put something in, so it's not showing up for you. Yeah, it's just maybe like this. So it should come up like this. Yeah, and this information I'm pulling it from my local storage. So when I close and come back here, it will still be, it should still be there.
When you go to a website and you look at that, can you see what their story is?
Yeah, any website, yeah. Yeah, you can go to any website and see the information. Yeah, there you go, look at
Yeah, but no, that's what they're dumping on you. Who
Yeah.
knows what they're keeping in there?
Yeah. All right, any questions on local storage, session storage? So again, these are the newer things. They only work on newer browsers. If by any chance your website is running on a older one, these things are not there, so it's not going to work. Okay? All right, so let's look at the next one that is going to work in any browser. Everybody's favorite, cookies. Cookies is the traditional way to store exactly what we saw. Okay? It's a little bit trickier and a little bit different to store information in your cookies. That's why they came up with the easier method, local storage and session storage. Again, these are newer. So if you think that your website is going to be run on browsers that do not support these things, the best way to go is use cookies. Okay, same information, this time you're going to save it in cookies. Okay, let's see how do we do that. Again, cookies is a bit tricky. It's not as straightforward as this. Yes?
Maybe off topic, maybe not. Why cookies? Why the name cookie?
Oh, that that's a good question. Know the history of no, I'm interesting. I'm not sure why they have the name cookie. Yes, there you go. Brendan knows.
So,
story time.
No, so like back in the day when everything was more terminal based, users, like employees would log in on like a Unix terminal and they would all connect to the same one. And there's like a message of the day that pops up when you first connect. And they needed to store that message somewhere. So they called that file fortune cookie because the message that they opened was like something you would find inside a fortune cookie. Yeah, it was a message that they sound like fortune cookie. So that just over the years, those temporary files will show up in cookie.
I made that up. I believe it. Good one there. For real.
Yes, for real, yeah. Everything is kind of comes from Linux usually. Linux, yeah.
You know what they say? It's always here, Linux on the desktop.
Linux on the desk?
Linux on the desktop.
Yeah.
This is what we need.
Yep. All right. So let's see how do we write cookies? Let me copy this same code from the previous one. Okay. Oh no, I have an extra. Okay, that's better. Okay. So let me copy this from the previous one. Again, I have the same form. And I'm getting the comment and all that stuff. Okay, let's run this, make sure still the same thing, and then okay. Applications. All right, so they do have another tab over here, cookies. That's where all information is going to come down. Okay. All right, so the first thing is, how do we store a cookie? Let me add my clear button as well. Okay. Copy the clear code. Okay. Yeah, my clear button here. Clear name, save name. Okay. All right. All right, so similar to local storage, we have a variable called cookie or an object, and this is part of your document object. So if you do document.cookie, this is what you will be storing all your information on. Okay, again, document is a global variable, right? Part of window object, and within the document object, there is another object called cookie, and that is what you can store all your cookies in. So the syntax is name equal to, and then you put in your call this name, and that's all. That's how you store a cookie. Document.cookie, and then the name of the cookie, whatever information, the key value pair, remember? So this is my key, equal to, and then the value. Okay, let's go ahead and store. If I want to store comment, document.cookie is equal to comment, and then the comment. You will see I'm not using plus, equal to, or anything. This is how you do it. If you want to add a new cookie, you just put the cookie name. Oops. Use document.cookie and just keep storing, piling up all your cookies. Okay.
Is it just sitting as a string?
Yes. Eventually, it's just like a string.
So you couldn't put something like an object in there?
You can what?
Like you couldn't put an object in the cookie.
Oh, yeah, you can put it, but it will still be what it will show is a like a string. Yeah. You can put anything. Okay. So let's go ahead and run this and make sure if it got stored. And there it is. Okay, if you had a third cookie, again, document.cookie and put the cookie. Now, here's the thing. You see the expiry time? So these cookies are, they're not going to expire. These are permanent kind of deal, like local storage, right? Now, we can make these to expire, all right? So before I said these two did not exist. So cookie used to function both as a local storage and a session storage. So what I did right now represents the local storage part. It never expires, it's always there. If you wanted a cookie to depict the session storage, what you have to do is you have to give it an expiry time. When that cookie comes to that expiry date and time, it will automatically delete itself. All right? And I will show you. It's again, it's a tricky. It's not as easy, but I will show you. But this is how the session storage part, the cookie takes care. Okay. Again, cookie is a more traditional way, and we did not have local storage and session storage. So cookie used to perform both of these functions. Right now, what I'm showing is there's no end date to it, so it will always be there. If you want cookie to act like a session storage, you need to give it an expiry date and time. All right. After that time is gone, it will automatically delete itself. All right. Let's see how we do that. So the time is given in UTC, Universal Time Zone, unfortunately. So what time is the time in UTC? So that's current time in UTC. 3:30 a.m. Okay. And it's Friday. All right. So what you do is the cookie the value that you want to expire, you just add the expiry time next to it. So what this is, so you separate this cookie by a semicolon, okay, and then say expires is equal to, and then the time in UTC. Okay, and this goes, first you have to mention the day, so it is Friday, and then 22nd. 22nd March 2019, and I'll paste this on your Slack. You don't have to remember this. And then the UTC time, so it is 3:30 a.m. So 03, it's probably gone. So let's see. Right, you can see it's already kind of complicated.
Your website, your
okay.
browser is not up to date. You're not looking at the site.
Well, let's do 33. Okay. So what am I doing is I'm saying that this cookie should expire in 3:33. Let's clear this so I can put some new cookies. I'm running out of time. Okay, let's see. Now, oh, now you have to wait for 2 minutes. Okay. So you see over here, so I have this cookie. Now I have given it an expiry time. So this, I haven't given the comment one. I just gave it for the name one. So this will expire after 3:33 UTC, which is in 1 more minute. So at 8:34, you will see when I refresh this, it's going to disappear, right? So this shows us if you want something as a session, you have to give it a time. Okay?
You can't tell for like clear on exit.
Not that I know of. I'm not sure. Yeah. Well, there's another way you can do it. You can set this. I'll show you the clear one. Let's see in a minute. Yeah, you can clear it out, but it's kind of hack. It still has to do with the time thing. Okay. So you see now it does have a time over here. I hope I got this right. 3. $3:33. Let's try. Oh, I still have 1 more minute. Oh my god. All right. Yeah, I thought I didn't have time for it. Okay. In the it's UTC, GMT. They all are the same thing. So in the meantime, let's do one thing. This is how you set the cookie. How do you read the cookie? How are we reading this? You're using get item, right? So reading the cookie is not as simple. There's actually no JavaScript function to read a cookie. Okay. So what people have done is they have actually written their own methods. If you Google read cookie in JavaScript, I'm just going to copy the same function that somebody else has written, right? What is going on? They are getting this as a string and parsing it and breaking this and getting the value. It's all string parsing. There's no JavaScript function that exists that you can read the cookie. Okay? Yes. Hey, you see, it went away. 8:34. I refresh, the cookie is gone. So this is how you remove the cookie. Okay? There's yeah. So here's let's do. I have a clear, right? Now how do I clear my cookies? If that's the only way. Set it to what? Empty string won't work. Well, yeah, you have to. I said it has to do with the expiry time, right?
Set it to now.
Set it to now. That's a good one. Yeah, you can set it to current time and it will always expire. So set this to empty, and then Google this. So my name is, oops, let me know this. Name, and then I had expires. What generally you will see is, this is what people do. Just set it to an unreachable past time. So what they do is, to be sure, they just set it to 1970 and this will clear all the cookies. Yeah, and that's what you see. Right. So right now I have 2 cookies. Let me remove the expiry, otherwise it's going to always never show up now. Oh, I need this thing. So as I was saying, it's kind of like a hacky method, but that's what you have for cookies. So let's go ahead and clear. So nothing over here. Comment. Come back. I have the cookies. Now if I press clear, it's all clear.
I'm just learning about it.
I didn't set the rules. This is the rules. Alright, so this is how you clear it. Again, you guys get it? So you set your time to anything in the past and it will just delete your cookies. That's a hacky way to clear it. Okay. Now how do you read it? Again, did you guys Google read?
Yes.
Okay, you guys got the function read cookie in JavaScript. So somebody has written this function. So go ahead and copy paste this function. Yeah, it doesn't matter. The point over here is that there is no native JavaScript method that you can use to clear to read the cookies. It doesn't exist. All right, somebody has to use. And what is going on over here? Now, how are you going to call this? So I already have my cookies over here. Var name cookie value is equal to, I'm going to say read cookie. And then I'm going to pass in the key, which is the name, right? Whatever I equals sign where. Oh no, again, this is a custom function. It's up to you. If you want, you can put the equal to sign, but then you have to change your function name. Function body. So right now this function, what it does is it doesn't take the equal to sign. They are kind of, they will add it to over here, you see. So again, this thing will read the value and store it over here. Again, the point over here is there's no native method. You have to write your own. You don't have to write your own. Somebody has already written. You can copy paste it and start using it. But if you go through it, what they are doing is they are taking this, reading the cookie, right? Document.cookie. What does document.cookie gives? It gives the whole string, right? Console log that out, and you will see it's just the whole string over here. So console log document dot cookie. Okay, so this is what comes out. This is your cookie. It's just one big string that comes out. Now what do you have to do? You have to write a parsing method that you have this string and you're trying to get anything after equal to but before the semicolon, or there's no semicolon. All right, that's the algorithm that you're trying to write over here to read the cookie. Okay, again, the point is there's no native function, but this is how you would clear your cookie, read your cookie, and save your cookies. Okay, questions? You know, I'm not entirely sure. The websites that we have worked on haven't had any issue with cookies or writing anything. Oh yeah, if there's session, local storage, that's what we've been using. Yeah. But I wanted to show you that something traditional exists, and if your target audience is kind of on the older version, you want to make sure everybody is there, then that's how you do it. Here's a.
What year would you say the cutoff between those two?
I wouldn't say year. I would say maybe the versions. I don't know exact version. So look up. What we can do is, yeah, there's the information on if you see local storage. Local storage JavaScript. So the good part is even if you go to MDN or W3 schools, they have these versions listed over here. So these are the versions that these support. Before anything before this does not exist. There it is. Not before 8. Create. Yes.
I think it was just a trend the last year that a lot of websites had this like disclaimer that popped up when you go to it. It says this site uses cookies and by continuing to use
right.
You gotta clear it. Is that a generic term meaning any sort of local storage, or they mean cookies?
Any kind of, yeah. And that I think that came up because something in the laws changed, and that's why every site has to do it. That's what I understand, that there was a change in the laws. Yeah, because of the right. That every website has yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just they're showing. I mean, what would I do? I would like close the website, be like, no, I don't want my cookies to be shared, so I'm not going to come to your website. I haven't done that. I mean, yeah. That's probably my least worry is that they're probably reading my more information than my cookies by now. So
there are actually extensions to help block those pop-ups, specifically those pop-ups.
Oh, they like auto check off of it.
yeah.
So it doesn't.
All right. Any questions? So let's do this. The same exercise we did with local storage, we did with session. Now let's do it with cookie. Now you should go through the pain. I had to type the whole data out.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, I'll paste the UTC time thing on the Slack so that you guys can modify this. And here's the generic function. Alright, select out the UTC time format for expiry and also the read cookie function. What? Store the credit card information in the cookie?
Yeah, because she opened it after.
make sure that it is working at all, go back onto the code, and instead of giving a variable, just put in whatever.
If you added a clear button, then you can use expire. If you want to try it out, then yeah, use the expire.
No, yeah, name equals.
But it's not required. The only thing right now is that it should come from your cookie. You are storing it in your cookie and getting it back from the cookie. Expired is not required right now. But if you added a clear button, then you can put expired.
It should work. But we take the time to so okay, go to that one. Okay, so obviously we're done. So all we're gonna do is like it's done. Because
So maybe what we should try to do is just close the tab down and just open it again. Well, I wasn't gonna do it.
wait, I gotta change the time.
Oh yeah, it's just trying whatever. It's already started. So
So it's getting created and deleted as.
It is the same thing, it's just it's not. This is very frustrating. It's so simple.
Yes.
Okay.
So we put our code in.
Okay.
And
Yeah, if it is functional.
So because we have exploration in there,
What's the date that you have?
we have 1970.
Over here it's fine, but it shouldn't be after this part. So this thing, it is saying that clear out any previous cookies. That's okay. Then you have this code. So it's going to create new cookies, and that should be there.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's clearly.
It's just clearing it out. And it will clear out the previous cookies if you have.
Oh, so there are. Okay, so we're not clearing out because there are cookies that are on there already.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. This is how you clear it. Or you can, if you create a clear button, this is the code that. Remember, I created a clear button, and this is the code I put in over there. So that will clear out everything.
Okay, so we're not creating cookies yet. So this has to be a how does it work? Recommend our cookie.
You don't need a.
I guess that's equal to like those cookies.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's the formula.
Add
Is equal to, remember it's a key value there. So you have to say key. And then you need an equal to sign. So it kind of compares to each other.
So when I just copied and pasted this in there, it just worked. Right. Which just,
This is exactly that.
which kind of makes me think that there might be something else going on in there that's just off.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't even the console line work. It's breaching that. Yeah. Because sometimes when I ran this problem, it code jack somewhere else and this is off. But like this is happening. So what?
But it expires. Oh yeah.
Okay, so
I guess well, yeah, that's why
maybe we just try getting rid of that line entirely.
wear it well. Literally.
Mike, it's not clear.
Try and close to.
Just to try something different. Yeah.
So our goal is to
I know who kind of blocks cookies that you're writing from your local. What I'm doing is, since I'm running this live, so I get like a URL on the top, and Chrome kind of allows this. I wonder if because you guys are using the right open in browser, it has files, something. So Chrome might be blocking you writing the cookies. Yeah, one thing, but try the open live server. So where is your code? Open that. So the file name.
Oh, he's gonna be some weird.
Yeah, there's there. So yeah.
Okay, so what is it doing?
It's dollar sign.
Those files in that.
Oh, for it? Yeah. And then in parentheses. Function inside the parentheses.
Oh, function.
Yeah, no, document dot ready. Parentheses function.
So now let's go back to the page.
Oh, word.
And then you have parentheses for the function.
Go to your downloads.
Just clear them. See that little circle with the line through it?
So then you have that. Closing curly brackets. And closing brackets.
I realized that code that you have. So when does it execute?
It executes that.
Just in case it.
Yeah.
And that should be.
Take the curly.
All we gotta do is get that here.
Oh, I thought it was
You should just name different file like that.
This is the file that I'm using for my homework. I literally just copy and pasted that in. And I just checked it right there. And username.
Does this have? Yeah, it has a by default.
Oh my god.
I think if you use locally Chrome blocks it. I think if you run it on Firefox it will. All right, let's do the last exercise of the day. Everybody good? Ready?
No, it's not working.
It's not working? Okay.
No.
Here's it's not going to work if you're running it in like open in Chrome. Like if you do right click and do a open with Chrome, it's not going to work. So here's the problem. Chrome blocks. Yeah, it will work if you're doing live server or you go to your local host or something. So Chrome actually blocks if you're trying to do it from your local. If you see any path like file // Chrome will block it. If you're on a Windows, try it on Firefox. Firefox allows it, and on Mac, I think Safari allows that. Chrome will block it. The only way to run that is either do open with live server or do like a local host and try to run that site. Then it will run. I'm using live server, that's why my cookies are coming up. So what Chrome does is Chrome requires that there's a domain. So if you see over here, this is like a domain. It's a local host, but it's a domain. If you do file / whatever, Chrome is going to block the cookies. So that's why you're not seeing your cookies. Okay, just run it in live server or I think Firefox allows that other thing. I haven't tried in Firefox or Safari. Try it if it works. Otherwise, it will definitely work in this part. You have to open that file in a folder. Okay.
Hey, look at that.
Worked?
That would explain. Do you not have the live server extension?
Oh, I tried.
All right. Proceed.
But I've already
Oh, we can't get this cookie.
Why not? What happened?
What's
What's the issue?
So that's why
It
I
ain't
said.
cooking. We've changed the time to past time like 15 times.
Well, if you change the time to past time, it's creating and deleting it. Why are you putting a past time?
To get it, that was it.
Just remove the time. Just do it like this. So don't.
We need to change it to Friday.
Yeah, it has to be Friday.
Yes, because that's.
UTC, it's already Friday.
That's the one we did.
So if you're putting Thursday, it's already past time. Got it? Bryce, you were able to get it working? Did you guys work? Yeah, he had the same issue. Yeah. You looked at the wrong time. All right. Who's got it working? How many groups have it working? The one, you guys, 2, 3, 4, working?
I take full responsibility for that guy.
Yeah, you looked at the wrong time. Come on. All right. So last activity. Remember we did the to-do? The to-do list in the beginning? we are going to go back to that and then redo and store it in your local storage. Remember, we refresh the page, everything kind of disappears. So go ahead and modify that project to use local storage, and your to-do shouldn't disappear now. So let's go ahead and see. And Nick already posted a solution for the previous exercise if you were not able to complete that. If you were, I would recommend go back to your solution that you have and then add local storage, not the cookie part. Don't worry about the cookie part or session. This time, if I add something, and then when I refresh, you see it's still there. It should still be there. I should open up in a new tab. It should still be there. It should come up. Okay, so we are going to use local storage, or let me correct, you guys are going to use local storage and fix this problem. All right, that's this will take you almost like half an hour or more. The to-do list, the first one that we saw. Okay, everything else is there. If I remove this, it should go away. When I refresh, this thing that got removed shouldn't come back. All right, so you are removing it from your storage also.
I did, but I just.
Oh, that was great.
This was just the one that I did to try to get it to work. Oh, I don't know what happened in the one we were working on collaboratively, but when I did it, I got this. So.
Yeah, that was pretty bizarre. Or whatever that wasn't working.
I mean, I don't know what the problem was. I just did two. What it was.
Because that's what you had to check something. That's what you guys tried to do. Like a separate div and doing that way instead of trying to add the button paragraph like we did.
Well, that's actually what I did overall. I just took the two texts and I appended the button, and then I appended an extra button into the div.
Oh, okay. So they're both together.
Yeah.
And it has HTML.
Or just the JavaScript. JavaScript.
Then it won't stay.
Oh, no, we have the JavaScript.
The whole JavaScript.
Yeah.
Dynamic.
Yes.
Now I'm on here. Now I'm picking up what
The
you
first
down.
project, the to-do list. Yeah,
Number one?
Yeah, number one. If you didn't complete it, then then continue from there.
So I'm just thinking, like, what are we actually storing?
Or you can use a solution if you are not able to.
Yeah, but I'm just like, which things are we going to store? Probably. I think the div doesn't have anything but identifying errors. We just want to make sure that they stay between.
Ooh, who said create an array? So when I'm saving something over here, am I adding each one as a key? Yeah. So this is the local storage, right? So remember the key value pair? Now kind of think about it. Am I adding each one as an individual key value pair? Like if there are like 100, so my local storage would be like 100 key value items. Is there a way to put everything together? And Bryce mentioned array.
So maybe if we make an array of objects, right, that'd be the simplest option.
Right, yeah, that's what. Just be an array of that.
Mm-hmm.
Our item array or whatever. Yeah. Bracket. Push it away.
Yeah. Let's just see what happens when we do that. And then I'll just console log the array.
Yeah.
Every time. Yeah. Well, yeah. Yeah. What I was wondering is if we could, instead of pushing a div, we're just pushing an object and then
It recursion.
Yeah.
That
So we just
fly.
So
Look into using these two functions when you are retrieving and saving the data.
The item, right?
Yeah. So what we can do is what I'm thinking. What we can
make an array of 2 texts, and then use them to dynamically create divs on the fly. Because otherwise, they're identical.
What I was saying is we could just create an object, so that way instead of just the text, we can also keep track of the state of the compute. So if it is done, so if we press the button to say like apply strike through, so that it's done, we would be able to maintain that state in the object.
Yeah. A little bit of scope grading. I like that.
Text box.
So if instead of like creating the div right like that, we just create the object and then we just add those attributes, add those properties to the object that we're creating, and then we can just
all it needs is its name and a boolean that defines whether it's done. Then will be false to begin next step, and then later it's true. Strike through the text form. So then we works right. No, that's done.
So you want to display that. So I'm just looking through what we have here. So in the output show, we'll be creating the content. So
maybe after you appreciate
instead of this, or to already have user display.
You got it working?
We feel good.
Working?
And we just supercharged it. Come on, they ended up
text.
Working? Just
We would actually, when we put the two values,
Yeah, just like we already know it. Why?
Okay, I gotta
why not define it?
just define it right away.
Oh, yeah. Everything needs to change. Oh, that was really No! Stop! Oh, that's you want to remove single items? You got that. Remove item, boom. Right, throw it in.
This object,
You don't do
we
it.
just create everything else that we already
You
have.
don't delete it.
So, we could, instead of text out today, instead of two value,
We have to define using on. Well, I guess it has to happen at some point.
Oh, he wants a specific.
So what I was thinking, like at the very end, so we at this point we can even push the object into our array.
Why'd you come and just shoot holes?
So because we got the object already done, we gotta explore the changes.
We got half. We got.
Yeah. Everything else would be pretty much nothing else changes except for like where are we getting our sources. So instead of getting this right here, or getting two value from right here, we're just getting it into here. And then what I was thinking is
So if any team hasn't gotten the logic, we are going to be using an array. Use an array to store these to-dos. And then write that array to your local storage.
and so now we've just got an object, an array.
Yeah?
Let's do what I was also thinking is we should probably
So you are going to retrieve the array
identifier,
and then parse it. And then,
like for each object.
yeah, there you go. So we have to use an array to store. That's what that create an array, and when somebody adds an item, add this to the array that you created, and then use a local
Drill
storage
down
item.
in order to store it. So
And use the stringify method to convert the array into a string and then store that array. That's the first part. It will help you when you retrieve it. When I click this thing, this should be removed. So why are we using an array? If I have 100 keys, you cannot create 100 keys separately. You only have limited storage. You cannot keep creating multiple. And how do you combine it? Use an array. You put the whole thing in an array and store the array as like one array.
Or define it as a separate function.
Local storage? Local storage does set item. You put a key and your value would be the whole storage. So anytime somebody adds it, so you are saying array dot stringy push, right? And this will push whatever to do item. Your array. And then what you have to do, you have to use your local storage dot set item method, right? And then you need a queue. So anything to do.
I'd like to see that.
Yes. Right?
He also
And
calls
what's
this
going to be the values? This value is going to be this array that you are pushing. Okay. Now this is an array, so it's going to be like this, right? Something. So the value is going to be like this. Absolutely. It's going to be whatever the to-do item that somebody adds it on here.
Like, don't you remember when I intentionally switched from GIF to GIF to see if anybody would notice?
Oh, yeah, I remember saying that. I'm not sure
But we got it. So
This thing.
and that's such a
Whatever the value.
But no, internet
Variable that you are storing.
Yeah.
but the fact that he's intentionally doing that.
Item or something, I think that's going to be
So the same thing with internet.
To do item is
Why else for a teacher? Why else
how
do
you
you
enter the array? Before you set it, you need to convert this into a string. So you can use the distance or
Troller's got a weird desire for attention.
identify method that I wrote over there. Pass your array. And this will give you a string. Store this in a variable, and then this variable goes in a string.
Because it's not
Ponder over it and give it a try. Start with the array and push everything to the array.
It's like yeah,
Well, so what are we trying to
so it's really interesting.
Yeah, you're trying to stringify the item array so that it stores as a string.
It's that reaction. It's like why people tell dad jokes. But I love dad jokes. But that's not, they're not incorrect. Why he's looking for the reaction. The weird thing to do how you have like, why would you add another layer? Some people keep it not everybody's going to perceive it the same way. I heard several people mention about I don't know, that's pretty deep state drive. I think he's controlling
That sounds like yeah.
That's what I was thinking about. These concepts syntax. It's not I over rely on it. Okay. I'm doing like I need to start with all new array. And I did a new array that got text box. That would be value is. So we just call it whatever, something array. Well, we forgot that the array. So like the string, right, we gotta put the array in. That's so that's not showing me anything. Okay. That
is what I call
Why is everybody sprinkling rain?
Oh yeah, now we can. So this goes on after you so now we use like because I see that you have each time we're going to be storing before the delay.
Maybe it just yeah, there is only one person.
Right.
So it looks like it's probably. But the fact that it's using a square bracket seems like it's an object array.
Are you right underneath then default? Yeah.
Let's so now that we have it in local storage, but the console log
you just select one. Really? Wow. Yeah, I quit. I'm going to bed.
Thank you. storage. Local storage. You call it.
Oh, look out. Still win.
Put array next to it.
I just did that, so
See if that goes.
Did you do the next one?
Just return. Oh, actually, we need to get index outside. Because the name is already.
So did everybody get how to store this as an array?
Like, no, create this array.
Now what you have to do is, how about you get that array back, right? And then does array, we are using array.push. Is there a method to remove an object from the splice or, right? So look up the method that you can use, remove it from the array, and then just rewrite the same array back. Okay. So get this array back now. Get item, get the array back. Parse it using JSON.parse. You will get this array back, and then I think it's splice or whatever. Use the method to remove the item from the array, and then set this array back into the cookie. Oh, sorry, and your local storage. No? Okay, all right. So I'm going to, this is my array. I want to remove anything, right? So when I remove what, the first thing I need to do is I need to get this array back. All right, parse it. All right, this will give me like a regular array. All right, so I'm going to use the method to remove an item from my array. Let's see, what is the, is it splice?
Yeah.
And how do I use it? Okay, something over here. So this will remove this item. So if I'm trying to remove DD, this will remove this, and my array is going to have now 2 strings. Okay. Now what do? I just take this new array and write it back to my cookie. Just override it and just put 2 more. No remove item, nothing. So this will basically remove that item. And just refresh your page. Or when the page comes up, it will only have this thing. So the first thing is get it back and then parse it. So yeah, these are, let's do this. So I say list.
Well, with the exception of or somebody might use splice. Yeah, I've seen splice and I've seen splice. Yep. Yep. It's no different than what you guys have seen already. You didn't have to. The hardest part of this activity is keeping track of local storage. Apart from that, you're basically just building a list of jQuery, right? You guys have done that before. Well, I mean, the fridge magnet game, right? You guys have done that with that. You guys have done it with activities that we did on Tuesday, plus in the activities today. So the hardest part is just getting that array into local storage and keeping track of it.
come back as the parser?
String.
Oh, always a string. That's why you have to parse it. You have to stringify it. But you don't have to parse it. String, then you don't need to parse it. So you can put an object in there, but then you have to stringify it and then parse it. Later on in order to use it. That function I wrote up on the board is also pretty important.
What? Oh, sorry.
Because you can go into local storage and change anything in there that you want. So if you change it into something other than an array, and your program tries to parse that, it won't be an array. It's not a string. The whole thing will crash. So that's a good catch me.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
So if you just write it basic totally clean, you don't need that. That's error correction. Yeah, well, you have to assume that people are stupid. Right. Yeah, so that's why we have exceptions. And also, even if you code something that could potentially, break it, then, that's always a good way of knowing if it's an array or not. Because the whole kind of premise behind this working is if it's an array, right? If it's not, then you can't do something. Yeah.
So it's not the core functionality, it's error handling.
Yep.
I mean, you could say that type of blocker just blocks right. They won't fall off. For me to say this.
That's not really bad.
It has a there it is.
The parameter would be insert there.
I'm curious to see how the
Stringify.
We're looking for brackets and braces. I don't know. It's it comes with the JSON object, which is part of JavaScript. So whoever wrote it in a specific way to where it will parse objects, arrays, all that stuff. So it's probably a pretty complex function. So I couldn't tell you. You can probably check out the source code for it and find it.
But it's one of those characters.
It'd be the same thing as if you were missing a curly brace in your code. Same thing.
So what I have to do is when the page loads, I want to read from this, right? I want to read from my local storage, and if there's anything that I want to show it on the screen. So right now this, if we do a console log, this is working. It will show you that there's a list of these. Okay. What is not working is, remember what do we have? We have two on clicks. We have when somebody clicks, it adds it. Okay. And when somebody clicks a remove, it removes it. We don't have a function to read from this and then display on the screen. See what I mean? So when my page loads, there's nothing to show on the screen. So what do I have to do? I have to read it from my local storage, then create all these fancy buttons, and then show it on the screen. Okay, it was working earlier. All right, because every time there was no permanent storage, right? I have nothing stored on my browser. So I add something over here, it kind of adds it over here. This is fine. And you see it's my array is getting updated, right? But when I refresh my page, I don't have any function to go and read from my to-do list and then show it up over here. Does everybody understand what I'm saying? Yes. Really yes or no yes? Really yes? Yes. So I need a function that gets called every time the page is refreshed or something. So what do I have to do in this function? I have to basically recreate this whole code. I have to add these p items and this, so that it shows up on my screen. The only thing is I have to do it in a for loop. Why do I have to do in a for loop? Because these are my arrays. So I have to get this back, parse it as an array, then loop through it, and then create my exactly this piece of code. I have to do a p tag, I have to do this, I have to do this. So what I'm thinking is I will create a function, extract this whole thing out, put it in a function, loop through it, and create my buttons.
So when you create that function, the loop, would you take all of it out of there
Yes.
and have it do that?
Yeah.
Just dry it
Yeah,
down?
yeah.
Okay.
So I'll take all this code and put it in everything over here.
And then it's going to rebuild it every
Yeah,
time.
it will
you
just
add
read
it.
every time I refresh it. Okay? You guys want me to keep going? It's 9:33. I can keep going. But anyway, I'll post the solution, but I know it was tricky. Go back and the more important concepts are you understand the local storage, session, and how to do cookies. Okay? All right, I'll see you guys this Saturday. I'm teaching this Saturday. We'll look at databases. What is it? You're here for the cookies.
No cookies.